everyone. Swastiastu. Before I will start the material, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Intan Lestari. I'm from class A1 Denpasar. So today in this video, I would like to explain the material about adverb, adverbial praise, and adverbial clause. So let's get started. We start with adverb. I have table of content also here. The first one is definition. The second one is form of adverbs. The third one is function of adverbs. And the last one is types of adverbs. I would like to start with definition. What is adverb? An adverb is a word that is used to modify verbs, adjectives, clauses, and other verbs. Many adverbs end in "ly" and they usually appear next to the word that they modify. For example, Bob carefully built a sand castle. The word carefully is an adverb that modifies the verb build. Adverbs are a commonly used part of speech that, like adjectives, provide more information in a sentence or clause by modifying or describing another word. Adverbs are used to answer questions such as how, where, when, how often, and how much. Forms of adverbs. We can add adverbs by adding "ly" ending to adjectives. For example, quick as adjective can quickly as adverb. Careful as adjective can carefully as adverb. But not everything ending in "ly" is an adverb. For example, friendly, lovely, lanny, costly, those are adjectives. Some adverbs do not have a special form. For example, well, fast, very, never, always, often, still, etc. The next one is function of adverbs. Adverbs often modify verbs. This means that they describe the way an action is happening. For example, Philip sings loudly in the shower. Number 2, adverbs can also modify adjectives and other adverbs. Often, the purpose of the adverb is to add a degree of intensity to the adjective. For example, the woman is quite pretty. Number 3, you can use adverb to describe another adverb. In fact, if you want to, you could use several. For example, Philip sings rather enormously too loudly. Number 4, some adverbs can modify entire sentence unsurprisingly. These are called sentence adverbs. Common ones include generally, fortunately, interestingly, and accordingly. Sentence adverbs don't describe one particular thing in the sentence instead. They describe a general feeling about all of the information in the sentence. For example, fortunately, we got there in time. The next material is types of adverbs. Adverbs can be classified into different types in accordance with what kind of information they are providing or what they are describing. Let us now take a look at each of these adverb types in detail. The first one is adverbs of manner. These adverbs are those that describe the manner in which an action is done. Basically, it can be said that the adverbs of manner answer the question how. In generally ends in "ly." For example, quickly, promptly, clearly, slowly, gradually, efficiently, rapidly, seriously, instantly, keenly, etc. Example in sentence: he walks quickly. The second one is adverbs of time. As the name suggests, the adverbs of time are used to tell the reader when some action is occurring. Adverbs of time include general time periods and specific times. We can identify an adverb of time by asking the question when. This adverb is divided into two types. The first one is definite time. For example, now, tonight, tomorrow, yesterday, last week, last Sunday, etc. The second one is indefinite time. For example, recently, soon, already, just, later, lately, next week, etc. Example in sentence, she arrived here yesterday. The third one is adverb of place. These adverbs are used to indicate where the action mentioned in the sentence is taking place. Adverb of place can be identified by asking the question where. Usually some and in where. For example, everywhere, somewhere, nowhere, anywhere, etc. Example in sentence, she lives there. Number 4, adverbs of frequency. These adverbs are used to denote how often an action or event is happening. The adverbs of frequency can be recognized by asking the question how often. For example, always, often, seldom, rarely, never, often, weekly, monthly, yearly, annually, usually, sometimes, occasionally, constantly, frequently, etc. Example in sentence, Jane always drinks milk. Number 5, adverbs of degree. An adverb of degree is used to discuss the degree or intensity of an adjective, an action, or another adverb. There are so many adverbs of degree. For example, very, to, rather, extremely, much, more, most, little, less, incredibly, totally, greatly, hardly, deeply, barely, etc. Example in sentence, he always walks rather quickly. Okay, for the next material, I would like to explain about adverbial praise. So let's get started. I have table of contents here. The first one is definition. The second one is types of adverbial praise. Let's move. For the first one is definition. What is adverbial praise? An adverb praise or adverbial praise is any praise that acts as an adverb in a sentence. It provides more information about the verb, adjective, or adverb that it modifies by answering how, where, when, why, or to what degree an action has occurred. Example, the man ran as quickly as possible down the street. The adverb of praise, as quickly as possible, provides context to how the man ran. The adverb praise modifies the verb run by providing additional context. The next is type of adverbial praise. The first one is adverb praise of time. Adverb praise of time tell us when something happens or happened or how often. For example, she goes to school every day. After work, I will ride my bike. The second one is adverb praise of place. Adverb praise of place tell us where something takes or took place. For example, I'm going for a walk along the beach. The party is happening now at Mia's place. The third one is adverb praise of manner. Adverb praise of manner tell us how something happens or is done. For example, she was painting very carefully. He kicked the ball with great precision. And the next one is adverb praise of reason. Adverb praise of reason tell us why something is happening or happened. For example, to keep calm, he counted to 10. She waited in line all day in order to get the new phone first. The next one is prepositional phrase. A prepositional phrase is a phrase consisting of a preposition. For example, in, on, under, next to, across, and in front of, and its object. For example, I slid my bag across the table. And the last one is infinite phrase. An infinite phrase is one that begins with the infinite form of verb or containing the word to swim, to run. For example, she went to Italy to learn how to cook pasta. So, the next material is, and the last is adverbial clause. I also have table of contents here. I also have the table of contents here. The first one is definition. The second one is type of adverbial clause. And the last one is identify adverb clause in sentence. The first one, definition. What is adverbial clause? An adverbial clause is a group of words that plays the role of an adverb. Like all clause, an adverbial clause contains a subject and a verb. An adverbial clause is the dependent clause that modify the main verb in the independent clause. Adverbial clause always start with a subordinating conjunction and must connect to an independent clause to make sense. Adverbial clause modify the main verb of the independent clause by answering one of four questions, such as where, when, how, and why. For example, even if I take the train, I still might be late to my appointment. In the example above, the adverbial clause even if I take the rain modifies the verb phrase. Might be late by answering the question how. And the formula of adverbial clause is subordinate conjunction plus subject plus verb. And then the conjunction used will determine its function in a sentence, whether as an adverb of time, method, purpose, or place, and so on. Adverbial clause can be positioned at the beginning and or even in the middle of a sentence. The next one is type of adverbial clause. There are several different types of adverbial clause, each with its own set of common conjunction and functions. The first one is adverbial clause of manner. These adverbs are those that describe the manner in which an action is done. Basically, it can be said that the adverbs of manner answer the question how, and generally and simply. For example, quickly, promptly, clearly, slowly, gradually, eventually, rapidly, seriously, instantly, keenly, etc. An example in sentence, he walks quickly. The second one is adverbial clause of time. Adverbial clause addressing time after contain the words until, before, after, as long as, and while. Answer when something happens. For example, before she got home, she called and ordered a pizza. Number 3, adverbial clause of place. Adverbial clauses of place describe where the action in a sentence main clause takes place. For example, my son told me another fight broke out where he eats lunch at school. Number 4, adverbial clause of condition. Conditional adverb clauses play out the potential outcome of a situation and use subordinating conjunctions such as if, provided that, unless. For example, we will be sitting in the conference room until they tell us to leave. Number 5, adverbial clause of reason. Adverbial clauses of reason tell us the reason for the action being taken in the sentence main clause. These clauses generally use subordinating conjunction like because, unless, and since. For example, we adopt these two cats because they are a bonded pair. Number 6, adverbial clause of purpose. These adverb clauses highlight the intention behind an action, often using conjunction such as so that, lest you, in order to, and in case. These adverbial clauses do not follow a comma, as in the sentence. For example, we studied all night so we would pass the exam. Number 7, adverbial clause of comparison. These adverbial clauses highlight quality and quantity with conjunction like than and as. Example, Felix is good at video games as he is good at weightlifting. Number 8, adverbial clause of result. These clauses have a start and end, relying on subordinating conjunction like so, that, and such. For example, the kitten was so cute that I had to buy it. Number 9, adverbial clause of concession. In an adverb clause of concession, the writer acknowledges or admits a factor that modifies the main clause. For example, the department had hired the first person they interviewed. Top 20 people applied for the job. So, for the last material, I have a identify adverbs clause in sentence. So, in this PowerPoint, I have example for the first one. I cannot buy a new car, although I am very rich. In here, we can see the subject is I, the verb is cannot buy, subordinate conjunction although, for the adverb of clause is although I am very rich. For the second example, I teach English because I love it. We can identify subject in here is I, verb is teach, subordinate conjunction is because, and adverb clause is because I love it. And for the last example, I will work at my father's office when I graduate from my college. We can identify here for subject is I, for verb is will work, and for subordinate conjunction is when, and for the adverb of clause is when I graduated from my college. So that's all my explanation about adverb, adverbial praise, and adverbial clause. And I also put the link. And that's all my explanation about adverb, adverbial praise, and adverbial clauses. And that's all my explanation about adverb, adverbial phrase, and adverbial clause. So if you want more know about adverb, adverbial phrase, and adverbial clause, I have a link Google Form here. You can practice with the type or click link in the description box. Thank you so much for watching and see you in the next video. Bye-bye.